1. Готовность колонны. Поехали! Отойдите, предупреждаю! Держим линию!
Putin is in his bunker, not by choice, not for a drill. He's hiding, and for the first time in 25 years of iron-fisted rule, the master of the Kremlin is afraid of his own capital. What happened in Moscow wasn't just another drone strike. It was a surgical execution that wiped out the deadliest enforcers Putin relied on to keep his war machine running. The men who made Russia's reign of terror possible, gone in one night. And the world is only now discovering the terrifying precision behind Ukraine's most audacious operation yet. They operated in the shadows, no faces on television, no names in newspapers. These were Putin's untouchables, the enforcers who kept the war economy humming, the logistics masters who moved weapons from factories to front lines, the intelligence operatives who planned every brutal strike on Ukrainian cities. For months, Ukraine had been watching, tracking, building dossiers on the men who made Putin's war possible. While the world focused on tanks and artillery, Ukraine's intelligence services were hunting ghosts. The chemical plant directors supplying explosives, the air defense commanders protecting Moscow's skies, the shadow fleet captains moving Putin's blood oil, the FSB coordinators orchestrating sabotage operations across Europe. These weren't random targets. These were the architects of Russia's strategy to freeze Ukraine into submission. And Ukraine had marked every single one of them for elimination. Now, this topic is controversial, and YouTube don't like uncomfortable truths. This video may be buried by algorithm, but one click can change that. If you want the truth to be seen, smash like and help break the suppression. December 11th, the date was chosen with surgical precision. Putin had just unleashed his apocalyptic assault, over 1,600 drones and missiles designed to plunge Ukraine into frozen darkness. Trump's team was applying maximum pressure, demanding Ukraine's surrender of Donbass. The narrative was set. Ukraine was broken, desperate, finished. Putin's enforcers gathered in Moscow that night, confident and untouchable. Strategy meetings at the PAO Akron chemical plant in Veliky Novgorod. Coordination sessions at the Dorogobuzh nitrogen facility. Air defense command centers monitoring the skies. These men believed Moscow's legendary shield made them invincible. They were catastrophically wrong. At 11:47 p.m. Moscow time, over 300 Ukrainian drones crossed into Russian airspace. But this wasn't a scattered attack. This was a wolf-pack operation, coordinated with military precision that would make NATO generals pause in admiration. The first wave hit the chemical plants. 6 massive explosions at the PAO Akron facility didn't just destroy buildings. They eliminated the key personnel inside, the engineers who knew how to produce the chemical compounds for Russian artillery shells, the logistics coordinators who moved these materials to weapons factories, the supervisors who kept production running 24 hours a day, gone, vaporized in fireballs that lit up the night sky. Simultaneously, hundreds of kilometers away, the Dorogobuzh plant erupted in flames. The thermal power station collapsed. The men running Russia's ammonium nitrate production, critical for explosive manufacturing, were buried under tons of burning rubble. But the real target was still ahead. Moscow's air defense network was Russia's crown jewel. Billions of dollars in radar systems, S-400 batteries, and electronic warfare capabilities. The commanders of this network were Putin's Praetorian Guard, the men who promised the capital would never burn. As Ukrainian drones swarmed toward Moscow, these commanders faced their nightmare scenario. Too many targets, too many vectors. The drones exploited every radar blind spot, every gap in coverage, gliding in at altitudes designed to slip under detection thresholds. Panic spread through command centers, orders conflicted, systems overloaded, and then Moscow's airports went dark. Sheremetyevo, Domodedovo, Vnukovo, all shut down. Not for minutes, for 7 hours. Over 400 flights canceled across Russia, passengers cowering in corridors as explosions shook the terminals. Even Armenia's prime minister circled helplessly in the sky, unable to land. The message was devastating. If Putin's enforcers couldn't protect Moscow's airports, they couldn't protect anything. But Ukraine wasn't finished. The strike spread like wildfire across Russia's industrial heartland. Refineries exploded in Lipetsk. Electrical substations collapsed in Smolensk. Every target chosen with brutal strategic logic. In St. Petersburg, Putin's hometown, his cultural stronghold, a massive market fire erupted. Witnesses heard explosions before flames consumed the building. The fire alarms never triggered. Russia's investigative committee opened a criminal case, searching for saboteurs who had already vanished into the winter night. Then came the killing blow. The power plants. When electricity dies in a Russian winter, civilization dies with it. The water pumps stop circulating heat. Within hours, pipes freeze. Within days, they burst. Modern apartment blocks transform into concrete tombs. Elevators freeze. Water stops flowing. Internet dies. Banking collapses. Hospitals watch life support systems flicker. The 20 million people in Moscow faced a terrifying realization. Their government couldn't protect them. But the most chilling casualties weren't infrastructure. They were the men who ran it. Ukraine's intelligence had infiltrated deep into Russia's command structure. They knew where the enforcers would be, which facilities they'd visit, which bunkers they'd shelter in. The drone strikes weren't blind. They were executions. While Moscow burned, Putin retreated to his gilded fortress deep beneath the Kremlin. Surrounded by generals and yes-men, he delivered his prepared statements. The war continues. The plan is working. But outside his bunker, the plan was in ashes. His chemical plant directors, dead. His air defense commanders, humiliated or worse. His logistics masters, buried in burning factories. His shadow fleet, struck in the Black Sea. His promise of safety to the Russian people, shattered like the windows of Moscow's terminals. Ukraine had done something unprecedented. They hadn't just struck military targets. They'd decapitated Putin's enforcement apparatus and exposed the central lie of his regime. That obedience bought safety. The social contract Putin built over 25 years collapsed in a single night. Zelensky's message to Trump, to Europe, to Putin himself was delivered not in words, but in flames visible from space. You want me at the negotiating table? I'll come. But I'm bringing the knife that reaches Moscow's throat. Force me to peace if you want, but you cannot force me to surrender, because I have the power to make Russia burn. Putin's enforcers, the men who made his reign of terror possible, paid the ultimate price for underestimating Ukraine's reach. Moscow's airports, dark for 7 hours, families freeing in Voronezh, workers watching factories explode in Novgorod, Russian citizens recording the chaos with shaking hands, posting videos that demolished the Kremlin's carefully constructed reality. The war came home. Not to distant front lines, but to the capital itself. Putin ran to his bunker. His enforcers can't follow. They're gone. And as winter tightens its grip, the Russian people are asking the question that terrifies the Kremlin most. If Putin's deadliest enforcers couldn't protect themselves in Moscow, how can he protect us? The answer burns in the wreckage of factories across Russia. He can't. What happened on December 11th wasn't just a military operation. It was a revolution in modern warfare. A smaller nation, pushed to the brink, reached deep into enemy territory and eliminated the individuals who made aggression possible. Putin's untouchables proved very touchable indeed. And somewhere deep in his bunker, Vladimir Putin knows the truth that Ukraine just taught the world. No one is safe. Nowhere is beyond reach. And the war he started has finally found him. The night Moscow burned, Putin's enforcers learned what Ukraine already knew. War doesn't stay where you put it. Eventually, it comes home.